Hi, my name is Noel Davis with World Composting, and today we're going to take a look at our Vermibag Max. It has been 22 days since our last update, very similar to the update I did yesterday on the Urban Worm Bag 2 with the European Nightcrawlers, but this is the Vermibag. So very similar system. You've got this bag system, and I thought it would be good to kind of have these back to back going forward if I can, so that way we can kind of keep an eye on how both these systems are doing. They do have two different types of worms, but they're very similar in the way that they work. You want to pile food on the top, let it get eaten and consumed by the worms, flow down to the bottom, and then you harvest. So this is not a harvesting update. We're going to hopefully do that in another 3 to 4 weeks, but this is a food update where we're going to add a lot of food to this system and see how it's doing. So the Urban Worm Bag was doing really well, and the Vermibag last time we checked it was doing also really well with these large top feedings. And we're going to continue with that today with another 2 containers, maybe 2.5 if they've moved through all the food. So as I said, it's been 22 days, and let's go take a look at the system. Alright, here's our Vermibag Max. I do have my shop vac here handy to go just in case there's a lot of fruit flies or anything, since I haven't opened the system in a while. So let's just go ahead and open this corner and take a look in here. Oh, we already had one fruit fly out there. Hopefully not too many more. But we'll see. I'm not seeing too many. It was just that one. Oh, okay, maybe a few more that flew out there. Still not too bad. This is completely dry. I'll have to replace this or add some others. They're actually flying right into my bug zapper. That's great. You can see all this powder that's on here. Let me just zoom in a little bit here. Let's just see if that'll focus. There we go. This powder, this is dead bugs. I think these are the little, what do you call them? Jumpers that you find, you know, in your bins. But as you can see in here, there's a lot of them on here. They're all over this mat. Let me back it back out here. I'll just go to right there. But there's a whole bunch of them on here. I'm just going to go ahead and dump those in here. Now on the top here, springtails, that's what I was thinking of, springtails, jeez. But there's a whole bunch of them on the bottom of this as well, the springtails, bunch of worms on the bottom, good amount of moisture content. You can really see, I think, feel the springtails right up there maybe. Maybe you can see them, I don't know. It's hard to tell with the lens. I'm going to go ahead and put this behind me. And we'll leave the worms on there, and we're going to take a look in here and see how this is doing. First off, we see the coffee grounds over here. They have not been broken down yet, but that's not surprising. Let's just kind of dig through here and take a look and see how these worms are doing. So we're just going to go ahead and peel back this side. We got a banana peel, piece of banana peel right here. But let's just peel this back. Again, the coffee grounds, just like in the Urban Worm Bag, those take a while to break down because they're trapped in paper. I'm going to try to get better at ripping those open, I think, before I put them in my freezer. I know I don't have to freeze them, but it's a lot easier to just have them all in one container than to separate them out. It feels a little compacted down here. Let's just dig in a little bit. You can see all the worms. Worms look nice and healthy, though. Nice deep red color. They look really good in here, I have to say. I mean, they really do look very healthy, nice and active. So I'm really good. These systems are really good. Both these bag systems are just really good with the worms. I find that they do really well as long as you keep the material wet. And look at that. They look really, really nice in there. So we're going to go ahead and cover that back up. All the food from that side is gone. Remember, we did a massive feeding. So the only food we're seeing right now are these coffee grounds and that one banana peel. Let's peel back from this side. Just take a look in here real quick. Oh, we got an avocado shell. These take a long time to break down. That is not surprising at all. It's still there. But look at this. It looks like everything. Oh, we got a mango seed right here. Those also take a while to break down. That's not surprising. But look at this. Everything else looks like it is gone. They're doing a really, really good job with this system. So you can see it looks like there's some seeds in there. On the top, those are not cocoons of any sort. I bet those are apple seeds or pear seeds or something. The worms look really good. Let's just dig a little bit of this corner right here. Again, just coffee grounds, but everything else is gone. I mean, they did a really good job of finishing everything off, except for the really hard material. These things do take a little bit more time. So we're good. We're doing good here. Where these systems are really humming along with food. I mean, it's only been 22 days. So, and really not many fruit flies in here, which is also a good sign. So, all right. We're going to go right to the next step of this. I don't think this one seems like it's a little bit more moist. I don't think it really needs a spray down with moisture like the other one did. Although I think I will add just a little bit. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to add my crushed crab and eggshell right on the top here. Let me just put my glove down, grab my sprayer. I also like the fact that there's not many fruit flies in here too. I think because they're moving through the food faster, they're not able to take us hold as much. We're just going to spray a little bit. Not a whole lot on here, just a little bit. So just a couple seconds of spray, just to moisten the top of this bedding. The other bedding looks good underneath really, but that's really because I'm going to add this crushed crab and eggshell in here, and I just want it to kind of stick a little bit. Nice and thick layer right here. By the way, I should not be breathing that in. So hold on a second here. I'm going to turn on my vacuum and just get some of the dust here. All right, because I did not have a mask on, there was a little bit of cloud of dust kind of poking up in the bag. I just wanted to vacuum that up. I do have a HEPA filter on my vacuum. So now let's add the food, and we are going to be adding 2 large containers of food here. So we've got these massive containers. And actually, hold on, let me grab my glove again. By the way, I do use gloves. I know some people don't when they work on their bins. I believe in using gloves. I like these reusable gloves because my hands tend to dry out pretty easily and they crack and bleed during the winter. And I don't like to get all this stuff from the worm bins in my cuts. So there we go. We got some, these are pieces of artichoke right here. Got some Brussels sprouts, another avocado shell. You can break that up actually because it's frozen. You can kind of break them apart a little bit. It's an apple core, coffee grounds. Lots of coffee grounds in this one, it looks like. Oh, this one's nice and loose at least, so I can kind of spread it around like that a little bit. Another thing of coffee grounds. Oh, this one's the same thing. I can break this one apart too. They weren't too wet. This one feels kind of wet, and I don't think I'd be able to break it apart. Another avocado shell with tea leaves in it. So, apple cores, banana peel, more apple, tea bag. And I have found that these tea bags and everything do break down fully. As far as I could tell, I'm not seeing anything left over from them. So it's a great sign when I see that. Glad to see that the tea companies have thought, you know, hey, we shouldn't just put stuff in that is plastic. All right, and we've got another one of these big ones here. This one's even bigger than the last one, I think, or at least heavier. I think there's a little bit more moisture in this one. This one's been sitting in the freezer for quite a while. So as you can tell, it's kind of thawed and refrozen a couple times. All the water sort of oozed out into the bottom here. But so we can dig in some of this. Got some celery, got carrot, got some lemon. This one's a lot harder to break apart. I think there's a lot more moisture in this one than the other one. I might not be able to break this one apart like I hoped. I guess I should have knocked this one against the counter a little bit. But it basically, I think a lot of this is carrot peels. And then it looks like there's some lemon in here and lime. I was really hoping that I want to be able to spread this out a little bit. There we go. At least got part of it off. Yeah, this is really frozen here. I could feel the coffee grounds here are frozen. So there's a lot of moisture in this one right here. So this isn't really how you want your frozen food to go in. I'm really trying to stop doing these massive one-section feedings. And that's what this is going to become if I can't break this apart, which it might not be able to. All right, I got a little bit. It's funny because I did leave this out a little bit too, but it really didn't thaw out at all compared to the other one. I think this one's a little bit thicker. There we go. So you can see these lemon or limes. I think these are limes right here. So, but they will break apart in a bin as well. This is where I wish I had my hammer handy so I could just smack it with a hammer and really break it apart. Maybe that's something I should keep next to the bins from now on instead of in a drawer somewhere. Let's just try one more time to see if I can break this off. No, I don't think I'm going to be able to break that one off. All right, we got a little bit more over here. Let's spread this out just a little bit more. And by the way, I do freeze all my food because of two reasons. One, it helps start the breakdown of food. you know, when you add the when you freeze it, it breaks the cell walls apart, which is one of the reasons why I freeze it. The other reason is it does tend to kill any bugs that might be on there or anything like that, which is always helpful, I feel. Kind of make sure you're starting with the stuff possible. Now, I've heard some people say that bugs can survive. Probably some of them can, but I think the majority of them cannot survive being frozen for long periods of time at 0. They can survive for, you know, a day or two, but not a week, which is what I normally leave stuff in there for, at least a week. This thing's probably been in there for about a month. So, all right, I think that might be as good as I can do right here. I think everything else is pretty solid. Oh, wait, hold on. No, that's it. That's all I'm going to be able to do. I was able to get a little bit more, but I can't get any purchase in there to really rip it apart. So we'll leave this big chunk in the middle, unfortunately. We'll kind of clear out, let's do this. Let's just kind of clear everything out around it. So that way, this is the only thing in the center. And now we're going to go ahead and put in our cardboard. Now I've already, unlike the prior videos, I already have the cardboard in water here. You can see it's kind of wet up to here. There's still some water in here, I think. Yeah, there's still some water in here. I got to mix this up a little bit, and then we'll be able to put this in. So what I got to do is just make sure I get all of this wet. And this is the other reason why I use gloves. It's great for stuff like this, these waterproof gloves. I do have an Amazon link down below to gloves like this. And if you wouldn't mind using those links to help me out a little bit, every purchase you make, no matter what you purchase, actually I get a little bit, and it costs you nothing in the long run. So as we just mix this in here, I think we've soaked up all the water now. But this one had enough water, I think, compared to the other one. A little bit of water coming out there, but not too much. This one actually wasn't too bad as far as the wetness compared to the other one. The other one was a little bit dry. I think part of it is because I have the cover so close, it can reflect that moisture right back in immediately on the top. It kind of helps it out a little bit. Although I think it also makes it a better place for some of our bugs. But that's okay too. It's getting better and better in here. It feels like every time that I check on it. So, but I think this next check, I think we're going to have to do a harvest in here and see how things are doing. All right, with that, I am going to make sure that this is kind of covered up in the center a little bit. Just make sure everything's kind of buried in here a little bit, so that way the worms can crawl up in there. We're not going to bury it down too much, but I think that's good. And now we're going to go ahead and add our cover back on. Hopefully the worms on top don't get a cold shock from digging down right away. But there we go. Going to add that cover back on. Got some piece of paper in there. Just leave that in there. I'm not going to put this back in. I don't see any reason to. This is completely dried out. I have to refresh it. Maybe we'll add it in the next time we do it after our harvest. But overall, this looks really good. And this system is humming right along. 22 days in, they finished off like 90% of the food. There was a little bit left over in there, but not too much. So overall, I think this is going really well. These massive top feedings where I spread it all out. This is a slightly smaller feeding, I think, than I did in the other one. But I think this one isn't moving quite as fast. So we'll see. We'll see how this does compared to the other one. If the other one finishes its food first, when we check it maybe in 3 weeks, then we'll know that that one's working faster if this one still has food left over. But we'll find out. So with that, thank you for watching. If you have any questions on these systems, please let me know down in the comments. And thank you for watching.